Welcome back to the channel. This is my diesel heater. It's very good. Warms the van up nice and quickly. Keeps it warm all night. What's the best alternative? That's what I want to find out. Is there anything safer, cheaper, more cost effective to run? And is there anything that's actually better than a diesel heater for keeping your van warm? Going to find out today.
So we're in the van now. Let's discuss a few other options, pros and cons. But before we do that, bit of a safety announcement. When heating your van, if you're using any gas or any naked flame, you've got to be super careful. Two things that you need in your van: a fire extinguisher and a carbon monoxide detector. Do not use anything like this without having them in your van. Also, please do your own research as well on these methods that I'm going to show you to make sure they're safe for you and comfortable for you. Anyway, let's get into it. So number one, interesting one. We actually made this ourselves. It's a plant pot heater. So the idea with this is you put tea lights all around the bottom. Obviously the heat goes up into the plant pot and emits heat. Now, I have tried this before. I'm not going to try it today because it takes such a long time to even warm the plant pot up. Yeah, it doesn't really put any heat out into the van. You could probably burn this for hours in the van and it wouldn't actually make the temperature go up at all. It's not bad for warming your hands around. You get a little bit of heat off it. And I suppose if you sat reading a book and that's on the side, it's a nice little thing for atmosphere. Definitely not the best option for warming your van. The other thing is, if you're going to use one of these, tea lights like that will take up oxygen. So you need to make sure your van is not airtight, i.e. drop out vent, crack the window slightly, which obviously takes away from the point of it. You're trying to warm the van up. So probably, like I say, not the best option. And you can also get an oxygen reader, which is the same sort of thing as carbon monoxide. When there's low oxygen, it'll go off to alert you that there's low oxygen, because if you lose all your oxygen in your sleep, you just don't wake up. You don't have a clue about it, which isn't ideal. And that does happen to people every year in the van life community. I've heard quite a few stories. So yeah, be super careful if you're using something like this. And also, obviously, you've got an open flame, so make sure it's somewhere safe. I wouldn't burn it while you sleep. You need to be awake to always keep an eye on it. Yeah, be super, super careful with open flames. Which brings me on to our next alternative. I have used this before as well, while I was freezing cold in Venice, warming my toes up in the van. Very cheap, I think paid £5 for it. Kind of unsure on it really. You fit it onto your burner and then you light your burner as normal and the device heats up. Let's flick it on for a few minutes, see how much difference it makes. Okay, so while that's burning away, we'll just have a little chat about it. Obviously the same as the plant pot, got to be super safe while you've got a burner on. Make sure there's a bit of ventilation in your van as well. For me, the heat from this device just comes from the flame. It's the same as just turning your hob on anyway, or boiling a kettle. Yeah, the heat's coming from the actual flame, the gas being burnt, not the device. Now, obviously, like a saucepan, like a frying pan, like a kettle, the device is going to warm up. But I'm interested to know, once it's warm, how long it actually keeps heat for and emits heat for. Because with it being, I'd imagine, aluminium, you'd think it would just cool down really quickly. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. Like I say, I used it to warm my feet, but that was just a quick 5-minute thing. I don't think an option for this is warming it up, turning the gas off and then just leaving it on the side all night to emit heat, because I don't think it's going to last that long at all. But we'll give it a go. It's getting warm, yep, and it is actually glowing red. Right, well, we've already gone up 1 degree since turning that on about 2 minutes ago. That's just from putting the actual burner on. It's really started stinking, so I've turned it off. It was glowing red. I've got a COVID temperature gun, so I'm going to shoot it at it. Okay, it's just come up saying hi, so it is very warm. So I don't think we're going to get a temperature reading. And as you can hear, it's making some pingy noises. We've gone from 5 degrees to 9 degrees, but it stinks and it's actually smoking the van out, which does not seem safe. So I'm going to jump out the van and leave the window open. Yeah, it's red hot. Let's see how long it stays warm for. Red hot. Ow. That was stupid. Right, I'm going to get out the van, leave a window open. Oh. Right, so it's been a couple of minutes. Still stinks a bit in here, to be honest with you. Not good. And this thing is still warm, but touchable. In fact, I can actually hold this side. It's only the top that's still warm. That's cold as anything now. Literally 3 minutes on. Would not recommend. It's literally like boiling a kettle. But then once you've boiled a kettle, you can make a nice hot cup of tea to hold on to and drink. Absolute gimmick. Smells horrible. Could just be the first, because it's the first time I've properly burnt it. But it doesn't give you any heat anyway. It has definitely warmed up the van, because it's now 12 degrees in here from 5. But like I say, you don't get that much heat off it after you've turned the burner off. I think 99% of it is the fact that the burner's on. And it's not something you can really run through the night. Which brings me on to the last one. Well, the last couple that I sort of combined together. The goat of keeping warm. Hot water bottle, thick duvet, if needs be, woolly hat and warm, comfy clothes. Can't beat it. Yeah, diesel heater warms up the air, but if you're in your bed anyway, diesel heater's not warming your body up. Hot water bottle, love it, can't go wrong. Small little one at the foot of your bed, keep your toes warm. I get really, really cold toes. I get white finger and white feet in the cold, so yeah. Love having a hot water bottle at the end of my sleeping bag, or get a full body long one so you warm your whole body up all night. Thick duvet, yeah, it's a fair bit to carry I suppose, but everyone's got a duvet in their house. Take your one out your house into your van, don't need to get a second duvet. No more extra cost. Blankets, little blankets like these that are fluffy but fold up nice and small. Stick one of them in your van just in case you need it on top of your duvet. Sleeping bag, most people that are into camping have got sleeping bags anyway, but yeah, 5 season, 4 season, just layers. Hot water bottle and layers on top traps the heat in. Instead of heating the area around you and trying to keep yourself warm, heat the area that you're encased in while you sleep. That's the best way to keep warm in the night, in my opinion. Diesel heaters are great, don't get me wrong, but for such a small van, it's difficult to find a place to put one. Little ones that fit underneath your van and you have a pipe coming in, perfect. Went out in the vans a couple of years ago now with John and Stu in January to the peaks, and it was absolutely freezing. They both had their diesel heaters going, warm all night. I was in here, and in the morning I'll see if I can get John's video of him scraping ice off the outside of my van. But in here, I was nice and toasty with all my duvets and sleeping bag, woolly hat. Perfectly fine, not a problem at all. And definitely check John's channel out if you haven't already, the Caddy Boys. Lots of good content on there. Just wrapping up properly is all you need. John had his diesel heater on when we were on that trip, and he said he was roasting within 5 minutes on the lowest setting in such a small van. gets warm, almost too warm, too quickly. So yeah, that's my conclusion. My favourite thing personally is just a good blanket, good duvet, warm clothes if you really, really need them. When I've been in -5 before, put a woolly hat on, socks, not a problem. The diesel heater I've got, which is huge, is an outside thing. You have to have it outside the van and then heat coming up into the van. In here there's no space for it, so I have to have it outside the van and then have a pipe for the heat to come into the van. So a bit of a difficult one for that really. When I've got a new van, I'll be installing it inside the van, obviously with the drop out outside, and that'll be very, very useful. But then heating a bigger van will take longer and it'll be more gradual. Instead of freezing cold to red hot, turn it off and then it drops quick. So yeah, diesel heaters are great, don't get me wrong. Always make sure you're safe with them, make sure they're set up properly, and do your research on which ones you're buying. Plant pot, good for aesthetics, not going to warm you up. Stove burner, not good for aesthetics, not good for smell. Not going to warm you up any more than boiling a kettle would, or even just turning the hob on in the morning. I've done that before when it's been really cold. I didn't want to get out of bed, whack the hob on, just let it burn for 5 minutes, warm the air up. Perfect. My number one, nice thick duvet. If there's anything you guys use that I might have forgot of, I suppose, electric blanket, stuff like that, drop it down in the comments. Let me know what your favourite way of heating yourself up in your van is, other than these methods that I've shown today. Thank you very, very much for watching, and as always, look after yourselves.